The number one fear every home seller has and how to beat it. So 85% of home sellers they've surveyed are afraid of one thing, and they struggle to say it out loud. They're afraid of getting lowballed, of getting pressured to accept a low offer by an agent, for example, and in leaving money on the table. If that's you, this video is hopefully going to calm you down and show you how this stuff really works and what you should expect from your agent when selling a house. Okay, so let's talk about why this exists, first of all. Houses are obviously emotional. Okay, this is an emotional experience for sellers when they're going through this. And buyers, unfortunately, don't see this the same way. When buyers are going through a home, they're very picky and they're looking for the price and they're thinking very logically, most of them. Especially, this is something we're going to talk about, especially if you're an extended period on the market. Those first 10 days to 2 weeks, buyers can be emotional. Now, the market, how it used to be in 2021, 2022, those days are past. But that first 10 days to 14 days, you do have more an emotional buyer. But let's pretend buyers are thinking now purely logically about your house. They've got several other options. When buyers are coming into your home, they're comparing it against others they've seen, and they're thinking in numbers. They're thinking in strategy. They're thinking leverage. Where do you stand as a seller? And unfortunately, you're in this spot where you're waiting the whole time. And if you've passed those 10 days to 2 weeks on market, you're waiting. And it doesn't feel very good. I understand that. So if you've got an agent and you're selling a home, you start to think, hey, are they doing their job? Are they representing me? What happened to, let's say you had 10, 15 showings those first couple weeks and you didn't get an offer? And you're thinking, what's happening here? It can be a very nervous time. So you've got your agent and you're wondering, what are they saying? How are they negotiating without me around? Because unfortunately, you have to trust this person to have conversations when you're not there. They're getting a lot of inquiries from buyers agents, maybe buyers even reaching out to them directly from seeing your home on the internet. And you have to wonder, how's this person discussing my home? It can be very nerve wracking. And then you start to worry, are they turning down offers? Which is probably not the case. What you might start to worry is, are they getting low offers? Are they going to pass those on to me? And let's say you've gotten some already. Is there pressure to accept those offers? Are they telling me things like, this is the best we're going to get? This is the best we're going to see. We should probably take this one. The buyers are pretty motivated. I think this is the best we're going to see in this market. Are you hearing things like that? That can be very tough. And you can feel pressure, which shouldn't be the case from a good agent. A good agent is not there to pressure you to do anything. A good realtor, the way I operate my business at least, is it's the customer's choice. Okay, everything's in the customer's control. I'm there to represent their best interest. I have a fiduciary duty, but I don't just dump things on their lap. I don't say, okay, here are your options A, B, C. What would you like to do? Let me know. I got to run to a showing or I got to run to another listing appointment. Get back to me. Let me know your decision. Here's the thing. We don't decide for you, though. I can't decide for somebody. I can tell them what I would do if I was in their shoes. And a lot of my clients do want to know that. And I'm happy to offer that. Most of my clients in this situation do this or consider this. Or if I was you, I might consider doing this. But I'm not you. And the decision is yours. So that is my guidance I offer to you for your best interest. This is what I would suggest you consider. But in the end, it's up to you. Let's take a quick sidebar and talk about how lowball offers actually happen. I mentioned earlier, I've always talked about the first 2 weeks on market, the first 10 days. If you pass that window, let's even say you're in a neighborhood where homes take on average 60 days to sell, 90 days to sell. Maybe you're at a $2 million house and it's normal for homes to take 6 months. It's still the case in this huge country with the huge pool of buyers that exist, even for those hyper high-end houses. If you're on the market for over 10, 14, especially 20 days, the home gets a different perception. Maybe if 2021, 2022 never happened, that wouldn't be the case today, but it happened. And buyers, that is how they're trained. That's how they're used to seeing properties now. The home's on the market 2 weeks, they think, wow, didn't sell right away. Something must be wrong. I don't want to go through and be the first person to purchase this house. What am I missing? I don't want to make a dumb decision here. What am I not seeing that other buyers have seen? That's a pretty tough place to be as a seller. So buyers, especially those who were frustrated by the market several years ago, maybe they missed out on homes. Maybe they lost to someone bidding 200,000 over asking price. They're upset. And I will admit, some of them, they're kind of thinking about getting a little revenge. That's not everybody, and that's probably not the best buyer for you. but that mindset can be out there. So when a buyer sees a home and perhaps your house wasn't strategically prepared correctly, maybe it's not quite show ready, maybe it needs some improvements, maybe the price was really high. The agent maybe told you something you wanted to hear or decided to win the listing, win your business by promising you a sky high number that wasn't feasible. At this point, you've maybe chopped down the price to get activity, to get more activity in response to the feedback. Well, a buyer sees that and they can be like sharks in the water. They smell blood. The bloodletting has happened. The listing is bleeding. And they see an opportunity to go in there and boom, make a powerful, perhaps very little inspection or quick close or all cash. And they go in there powerfully with a lowball offer. Let's say my common price point here, let's say it's $850,000 house, but it listed, it should sell for $850. It listed for $950. Maybe that's how the agent won the listing. Not the right thing to do, but we know what happens. That's for another video. The home is now $850 and it's been 3 weeks on the market. You have to know this. A home that's $850,000 and 3 weeks on the market that was just reduced to $850 is much different than a house that comes on the market at $850 and is in those first 1 to 2 weeks and is a hot listing. Those buyers are emotional. If it's priced correctly, they don't want to miss out if it is the home for them. A home that's $850 though, after 3 weeks on the market, is a whole different thing. Buyers are going to go in there and say, this is a $950,000 house that's selling for $850. It must really be messed up. Something must be wrong. I must be missing something. You see, the perception is way different. And that's how a lowball offer happens. The agent says, hey, this house doesn't seem to be going anywhere. The sellers are probably desperate. They're probably feeling the pinch at this point. They're probably very emotional themselves. They're worried their house is never going to sell. Let's go in with this offer at $750 and ask for an inspection, but say we'll close quick, real simple financing, 50% down, cash or all cash. And let's see what they do. Let's give them half a day to answer and say we've got plenty of other options and we'll walk away. Boom. And there you've got your lowball offer. And then you've got your agent who maybe now you've lost some trust in since you listed so high. You don't know what that was all about. They told you it would sell quickly. It didn't. And now all they're talking about is either take this offer, or if you don't, maybe they even seem a little upset and they're just forecasting future price drops, or they continually ask you to drop the price. This is what it's going to take to sell the house. Horrible situation. And that is the seller's biggest fear in this market now that's changed. And I feel that pain. That's tough. So this is how you prevent that from happening to you. You price your home right from the outset. Be wary of agents that promise you the moon. Don't price the home based on sales that happened a few years ago. Base it on sales that happened in the last year, the last 6 months, last 3 months if you can. And this is a crucial piece. What else is on the market? Because buyers are shopping now. Let's say that the $850,000 price, there were some competitors on the market at $800 and $825. There was other competitors at $900 and $925. $850, if your house has something that those other lower price ones don't, and other things that the more expensive houses don't. What I'm saying is $850 is a great spot for you to be in. You're all on your own right there. You could be the perfect choice for somebody. My point is that's called actively positioning your house. Your agent and you should be touring those other listings, seeing where you sit right now on the market in relation to those. And that should affect your pricing. So not only the past, but the present. Obviously, that's the most important. So if that's going to affect your price on a $10,000 to $20,000 level here or there, that's extremely important. And that's a lot of money. And that can be the difference between a home that's sold in 6 days or a home that's sold in 24 days or 42 days. Believe me, it is that important to be precise. So strategically price your home correctly from the get-go. Be as showing ready as possible. Buyers are picky today. Even in an area with low inventory, I'm in the Midwest. Homes are still pretty in demand around here, but the buyer psychology has changed. They see the headlines. They know that all buyers seem like they have more choice today. They're moving slower. They seem to, the perception has changed. They know other sellers are getting a little nervous now because the market has changed. It's a whole different game now with buyers. So don't play around. Don't shoot for the moon. Don't list it and expect to come down later if you don't get your dream number, because the perception of buyers has changed and you're going to be hit extra hard with that what is wrong with this house mentality, and that's going to really hurt. And you know, if you miss it the first time around and you decide to delist your house and relist it, all that activity lives on the MLS. Agents can always look it up and use that against you. So I don't mean to scare you. I mean to caution you. Be very careful about selling your home. Really look for an agent that talks about strategy, positioning, and selling it right the first time around in those 2 weeks, exactly why it's going to sell. Not how much money I'm going to get you, but how am I going to keep you from losing money? That's most important. And in this market, that's what I talk about with my clients. My job is a pilot. I'm here to strategically maneuver and get this home sold for you, to get you and your family where they need to be safely, as safe and efficiently as possible, and as quickly as possible. So I'm there to, yes, get you the most amount of money, but I'm also there to protect you and keep you safe and protect your best interest, to keep you from making poor decisions, say when a lowball offer comes in. Are we going to push back on that? Most likely, yes. We'll talk about that. And you're the one that's going to be in control, not me. I'll tell you your decisions. I'll tell you where you stand. I'll tell you what other clients have done. I'll tell you the story of another client. I'll tell you what I might think if I was in your position. But in the end, I'll say, but I'm not you. The choice is up to you. And I won't feel bad about it either way. I'm just here to advise you, okay, to be your confidant, to be your pilot. You own the plane. You tell me where you want to go. But I'm going to strategically advise you on the best path forward. Another thing you can do, controlled offer windows, manage timelines, manage showings. Even if your house is vacant, do not leave it wide open for showings 24/7. In my opinion, that's begging to say, hey, this house is move-in ready. Please buy me. Please buy me. Something else I also do, I recommend, tell buyers all offers are negotiable today. But I ask my sellers for permission to tell buyers agents we are offering traditionally a little less than buyers agents get from other listings on the market. It's still common to offer buyers agents 3%. You don't want them to bypass your house for another one. I've never seen that actually happen. The ethics are so horrible on that. Buyers can smell that in their agent from 1,000 miles away. I think it's more effective to say, hey, my clients are offering 2.5%. Very generous for this property. Please bring your clients. Call me if you're interested. Send us an offer. This is the thing. You want to start off by saying no. You want to start off by pushing that buyer agent down a little bit. This might anger some folks, and that's okay. I'm here to represent you. I'm not here to make the buyer's agent happy. And this is nothing that should upset them. 2.5 is still very generous, but when they're used to getting 3, some agents are going to tell their clients, if they're a listing agent, hey, you're going to scare them off. I've never seen that. In fact, I see it starts you off in a little stronger negotiating position. It makes you seem not so desperate. You're not trying to match everyone else. We know our home is special. 2.5% is what we're offering. If you don't like that, that's perfectly okay. Maybe you're not the right buyer for us. I've actually had agents, for example, get upset. It did happen one time I can think about. That buyer actually got another agent and came back to the property and purchased that property. So my point is, there's strategic things you can do. We want to limit the number of showings that are available, the number of showing windows. We want to make it look busy, which I can strategically do that. We want to squeeze showings into certain pockets. We do want to have limited open houses, 2 open houses, or even 3 open houses that first weekend if we can do it. We want to make the home seem like it's desirable. It can be a little hard to get into. We're not offering quite so much as the other ones because we're more in control. So this might be new stuff you haven't heard before, but this is very strategic and very intentional. In summary, guys, I've talked a lot, but you don't need to be afraid of selling. You need to have a strategic plan from the outset on how you're going to best capitalize on those first 10 to 20 days. That is everything. Even though time to sell, days on market has extended, it hasn't changed that number. That most important fact that the first 10 to 20 days are everything. The market rewards strategy, not hope. If you're thinking about selling here in Dublin or Powell or anywhere in Central Ohio, please reach out to me. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching this video. Have an amazing day. Blessings. If you're here in Central Ohio and you're thinking about selling your home in Dublin, Powell, Northwest Columbus, please feel free to reach out. My name's Paul Graves. Otherwise, have an amazing day and take care. God bless.